Okay, so the next project we have is this pen tool and anchor points project. It's in the topics page, and you just click on it and download it. It should go right to your downloads folder, or you can click on it here, um, and it will open Adobe Illustrator. Um, this project will focus on the pen tool. So, like, really simple at the same time. So, I'm going to go through each of these boards. Um, these are like kind of the three main things you can do with the pen tool. Never ever use the paintbrush tool in Illustrator. It's just very jank, like cool. It kind of smoothed out these lines, but notice it's like not a perfect circle or clean shape. Like it just will never be as good as the pen tool. So never use that. Instead, go to the pen tool where you could hit P on your keyboard. And let's start here on this first board. So the numbers here outline anchor points. And that's where you're going to click. You're going to click on the numbers to create anchor points. And that's all the pen tool does, is it creates anchor points by your clicks and then connects lines through them. So let me show you what I mean. So we have one, which is where to start. So I'm going to click on it and let go. Okay, so notice this line is dragging around the anchor point that I've created. So I'm not doing anything except moving my mouse. So I'm going to go up to number 2, where it wants me to create another anchor point, and I'm just going to click and let go. Voila. So now that line that followed the anchor point there is in place with another anchor point. So now I'm going to go to number 3, click and release. Boom. And so this is how you do straight lines with the pen tool. You just go where you want to go and click and release. Click and release. So do that for practice. For this straight line part. An important part here is that with the pen tool you can finish shapes. So let me show you what I mean by that. If I just clicked over here, it kind of looks like a finished shape, right? But it's not, because there's still like open space here. So I'm going to Command Z and undo that. But how you can definitely complete a shape is, notice how when I hover over the first anchor point, a little circle appears right next to the pen tool. So it's gone now, and it's back. That is the program telling me that if I click over the first pen tool, then I will close the shape. Boom. So now I can go to the selection tool, and it is one shape. I can move it. I can change the color of the stroke. I can make the stroke fatter. I can flip the stroke with the fill color. Oops, I did not select, my bad. As long as it's still selected. Boom. Or vice versa. When you do that though, it always kind of makes the stroke skinny again, and I want my stroke to be fat, so I can kind of follow the lines for all these boards. Another thing, when you close the shape or create lines with the pen tool, notice that these teeth marks are really sharp, which is maybe what you want. They're teeth for a monster, after all. But when you can hit the stroke button, and each corner and end of a line is called a cap and a corner, and you can round those. So notice now they have nice little rounded caps. I'm going to move it off. So see, it's like round as opposed to sharp. So I want mine round. It doesn't really matter, but just showing you all the things you can do. So that is straight lines with a pen tool. Now you draw the antennas for a monster. So I'm going to go back to the pen tool by hitting P on my keyboard. And this is the same thing, but it's a little tricky. So same thing, you start by doing an anchor point at number 1. And only the numbers are where you click down to get the curves and start the anchor points. But to curve the line, you click and drag your I guess your mouse click a little bit to see. I've created these handles. So now I have an anchor point and handles. And the handles aren't the line. I don't want it to go all the way over here to 2 because the handles are not the line that will be created from the anchor point. They just let the system know that you want a curved line to happen. So I've created the handles, and now I'm going to let go of my click. And see, now the line is created. The line is always created from the anchor point. So I want another anchor point at 2, but I'm going to click and drag a little bit. Remember, you don't have to drag a lot. I'm just letting the system know that I want this line to be curved. I don't want to drag it all the way to the next anchor point, and I'm just going to keep doing. So I click and drag a little bit to create those handles out of the anchor point, and then let go. At any point, if you just click and let go, you've created a straight line on accident. So we want all of these lines to be curved. So I'm going to go back and click and drag, and click and drag even on the last one. So this one isn't a completed shape, it's just a line because they're antennas, right? Notice that like if I try to do anything anywhere, it just will stay in the pen tool. So you just have to change tools to get out of that. So I'm going to press V on my keyboard, and that switches it to the selection tool. And so now I'm out of that. This is also where we can learn about the direct selection tool, or A on your keyboard. So if the selection tool grabs whole shapes like this, then the direct selection tool allows us to mess with the anchor points that we've just created. So see how all these anchor points just highlighted? So I just want to perfect like this little rounded curve maybe. So I want to choose this anchor point, and that brings up the handles on the anchor point. And if I pull this handle a little away from the anchor point, the curve increases. So there's kind of some math going on here, like with angles and stuff. But, you can also hit an anchor point and move the anchor point itself, not just the handles. So, and you can move it little bits too by hitting the keyboard. So if I just want to move it a teeny tiny bit, I hit the anchor point, and now I'm going to use my arrow keys, like one to the right, just a wee bit, another to the right, a little bit down. So there's that. Practice by doing both antennas on either side. Lastly, we have what I call broken handles. So this image that we're going to copy, you can see, has handles, but they aren't straight across from one another. So notice up here, when I hit handles, they are straight across from one another. They are connected whenever I move them. They are connected to one another sort of indefinitely, unless we break them. So first, you have to get into the pen tool. I'm hitting P on my keyboard to get there. Start at number 1, and again, these numbers are where your anchor points should be. There should be no more or no less than the anchor points that are numbered here. So I'm going to start at 1, and it looks like this whole mouth is curved. So I'm going to click and drag because I want it to be a curved line. Go up to here, click and drag, and it's not going to look perfect as you go because we have to break the handles to make it all match. Boom. So see how it doesn't match everything? That's where we go into the direct selection tool. So I'm choosing this anchor point. So notice when I move them, the handles move together. But I don't want them to do that. I want this handle over here to match this image, right? I want it to be over here. And I want this guy to come all the way down here. So what I'm going to do is this ball at the end of the handle, I'm going to hover over that with my cursor. I'm going to hold down Option on my keyboard and notice, see that plus sign appears? There we go. So hold down Option and just move the handle with my cursor. So now, and then I'm going to let go of Option. Now I've successfully broken my handles, and you only have to do that once. Like, I am just moving this with my cursor now. I am not holding down Option because you only have to break an anchor point once. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm holding down Option again. Boom. And then this guy can just go straight because he's going to end up being a straight line. Same over here. I'm holding down Option, move one, and this guy goes up here, and then the last break, whoa, this is a big one, oops. I want to go to this handle, hold down Option, and break it, and let go of Option. So now I don't need to hold down Option over here. I just can grab the handle because they're already broken. So voila, I've created the mouth. So once you've done all of this practice, then your project is to add 3 more artboards, 1, 2, 3, and draw your own monsters here. You only need to make 3 new monsters, but I need evidence that there was substantial thought and effort in each monster. Also, each monster must use the straight-edged pen tool, a curved line using the pen tool, and a shape where you must break the handles. So all these skills we just learned. However, to use your monster, you can use the rectangle tool, also the ellipse tool, and you can use color in this project too. So you can fill color, or you can just do strokes, whatever works. But you just need to do 3 well thought out monsters utilizing the pen tool and showing off your pen tool skills. You can use the internet or cartoons you like. Let's see, I watched this cartoon as a kid, and it's all about like imaginary friends, so there's fun little characters here. Like I could do Coco maybe if I wanted, and I could try to kind of emulate these shapes by drawing Coco if I wanted to. Ooh, like here's a simple one. So I would just use the pen tool to draw all these shapes and create Coco. So you can do that with cartoons you like, or you can just do something completely original, whatever. I just need to see quality effort and evidence that you understand the pen tool and are excelling as you practice. So that's it, and thank you. Good luck.